Welcome back to the New Path campaign for Freespace 2 here on Paladin Gaming. We're going to the 29th mission of the campaign. Personal log, Lieutenant Commander Carl Bristow. December 18th, 2372. Fighting the students for the last couple of days was a strange situation. We've been allies for so long now, it feels wrong. And yet in this case, it was completely justified. Those Golden Hammer radicals certainly didn't have the same reservations about fighting us. They were a threat to the Alliance, and we had to deal with them. I mean, even the rest of the Golden Hammer organization basically is happy that those radicals are gone, so maybe I shouldn't think too much about it. But those unidentified Terran fighters, on the other hand, why would civilians attack a Vasudan convoy? Did they even know who they were attacking? If so, on whose authority? And why then attack us? The fact that they managed to disrupt our comms link with the Soyakaze, no, even worse, disrupt all intelligence frequencies, sounds like some very coordinated efforts by someone with knowledge of our intelligence procedures. What worries me the most is that they were apparently able to remotely shut down our jump drives. There seems to be some kind of backdoor to our systems. A backdoor that not even we knew about. Hard to believe. I hope we get some answers soon. Speaking of answers we didn't get, we also didn't get an explanation for this strange perimeter alert message. They said they'll look into it, but that is most likely a bug in the operating system. I'm not convinced, though. We'll have to wait and see. The Proteus Circle. Analytics has completed their review of all evidence on the identity of our mysterious attackers in Aldebaran. They're able to confirm their initial guess. Those fighters belong to the Proteus Circle. That's an association of powerful players in the military-industrial complex. Politicians, high-ranking military, intelligence officers, and others who believe that the Alliance would be better off following the old path. They're obviously opposed to New Path in general. That's why they chose this name, Proteus Circle, derived from the Proteus Mandate. As you may recall, this was the last big piece of legislation the previous administration introduced, which would have mandated a massive increase in military spending. Due to strong opposition, it failed to pass in the General Assembly, and when the current administration took office, it was ultimately buried. The Circle in its current form was created shortly afterwards, and they then took on this name to show their support for the idea this policy stood for. If you haven't heard of the group, that's no surprise. It's a highly secretive organization just like us. You could even say that they are our counterpart in the more traditional side of the political spectrum. We shouldn't be involved in politics as a... The big difference to us is that while our existence is... Excuse me, I'm sorry. I had 15 hours of flight delays getting back from Europe. And have to record this now because it's due out tomorrow morning. Alright, our existence is legitimized by the Beta Acolyte Convention, and our operations are sanctioned by the Security Council. They're basically just vigilantes who fight for their own political agenda. Well, up until that recent incident, they didn't actually fight in the narrower sense of the word. Analytics knew of them and had them on their watch list, but in general they didn't take any violent actions. They're on our radar, though, as we were concerned they would take on a more active stance at some point and begin to fight against the current administration directly. That point has obviously been reached. Their ultimate goal, as far as we know, is overthrowing the current government and installing a new one that is more in line with the previous administration's agenda. As they have some support amongst the military leadership, a military coup seems to be the most likely approach. But apart from some ideological ideas, most of their agenda is economically motivated. We suspect that several of the major corporations supplying our military are represented in the Circle in some form. We don't believe that the whole management of those corporations works for the Circle, but some of their executives are engaged with it and funnel resources into it. The fighters that attacked you in Aldebaran, for example, could be traced back to the Triton Dynamics, and we also have strong hints at connections to Subak Innes and Han Ronald. It wouldn't be surprising if even more corporations have connections to the Circle. Our main problem at this point is that we don't know enough about the actual members of the Circle's leadership to conduct any operation against them yet. So the first step is to identify the key members of that group. That will be difficult enough, but we have a plan to get access to their communications, which will hopefully reveal some of those names. Once we have identified our targets, we will break the Circle by taking out its leaders. Ideally, we will apprehend them in order to interrogate them, but if it's necessary, other means are also possible. Specific mission briefings will begin shortly. System intrusion. Good evening, Commander Bristow. Sorry for the late call, but your next mission will be easier at night. We're in space! Alright, fine. We have arrived in Beta Aquila and have assumed a position at a remote location on the edge of the system. Your next mission will be a solo reconnaissance mission, and a special one at that. Oh boy, more stealth missions. Our target is the Aquila Commerce Hub, a group of installations in high orbit around Aquila Majoris, which form the most important private economic hub in the system. Among those stations is Algalon Station, which hosts, among others, the primary branch office for Triton Dynamics here in the capital system, and also acts as a major non-government comm hub for the northern systems. Since we know that Triton is involved with the Proteus Circle, they're our most obvious target to gather more information. We know that the Circle has some connections to high-ranking government officials, so it's logical to assume that at least some of their communications are running through Triton's infrastructure here in Beta Aquila, and that means Algalon Station. Somewhere in their databases is the information we need to identify the senior Circle members. So do I have to get out my fighter, or is the database accessible through external scan? And that is where you come into play. Yep. You will find this information in their systems. We prepared a Pegasus stealth fighter for a very special hacking mission. We have knowledge of a few system vulnerabilities in Algalon's computer system that we can use to gain access to their databases and hide your tracks. First, scan their sensor subsystem to insert a command override into it that will prevent them from detecting our access to their sensors. Then scan the communication system and log into their network. We will provide the necessary command protocols to discreetly breach through their external security. When you're in, the interesting part begins. We will equip your fighter with a special VR interface that allows you to actually enter the system. The interface is programmed to act like you're flying a ship, so it should feel quite familiar. Wow, okay. Inside the system, you have to locate the communications database and enter that subsystem. There you should be able to find their encrypted communications logs. We have programmed the system to scan each file's metadata and assess its relevance. If the system determines a probable match, download the file and bring it back to us. Analytics will then reach the encryption and access the actual data within. Inside their system, you have to be careful. They have, of course, installed security measures to detect and terminate any unauthorized access. Stay away from their manifestations and avoid detection at any cost. You won't have any possibility to defend yourself inside the system and will just be thrown out. When that happens, we will lose our opening and the mission will fail. We have deliberately scheduled this mission during nighttime. Oh, okay, so local station night. And outside local business hours, so there will be fewer people interacting with the system who could possibly notice something suspicious, but the automatic systems will still be active. One more remark. In order to fit the necessary hardware into your fighter, we had to remove all weapons and the shield generator from it. Since it's not a combat mission, you won't need them, but be careful when maneuvering around the station to not damage your fighter. It can lead to detectable emissions when the hull coating is scratched. Start in 15 minutes. Good luck, Commander. I've never had compromised stealth when Pegasus has been shot before, but I guess that makes sense. So no ramming the station. Got it. Primary objectives: access the station's mainframe, find the intel in the Proteus Circle, obtain the intel and bring it back. Secondarily, avoid being detected. Alright, let's hit it. Command, I've arrived at the Commerce Hub. Algalon Station is 8 clicks away. No indications that my jump flash has been noticed. Acknowledged, Alpha 1. Approach the station and execute your mission. That's Port Newark. Port Liverpool. Port Alonso. Solomon. Where the hell is Algalon? Algalon. GTI Britonia. Hello. Scan the sensor subsystem. Sensors. Right there on top. How convenient. Nice that we're on Beta Alkali's night side. Although it being night on the planet should have very little to do with the night cycle of the stations. Seeing as orbits are, in most cases, faster than the day-night cycle of the planet. Now what? Since your subsystem access, command override injected. Affirmative, they shouldn't be able to detect you now, but be careful nonetheless. Comm subsystem is over there. There it is, the antenna on the bottom. Communication subsystem access. Computer uplink status is confirmed and ready to activate the VR system. Proceed, Alpha 1. Let's nuzzle up here so that we're less likely to be detected against the station. And do this thing. VR system activated. Oh! Okay, this is interesting. VR system is active. I can see several gateways that should be access points to different parts of the system. You have to identify which one of those leads to the communication systems. Approach them and our visualization software should be able to obtain and display the information. Keep your distance from the firewall scanning processes. Find the comm system access. That one's closer. Tracker Gamma 1. Nothing of interest here. Power distribution. Just go around the circle, dodging the patrols. Maintenance subsystem. Closest 6 kilometers away, so I got room to breathe. It's probably the one they're around, just to make it interesting. But I'll go around the circle. Auxiliary system hub. Irrelevance. Sensor system. Sensor system, not what I'm looking for. Alright, I got a patrol between me and the next target. So we go this way, because there they are. Got visual on them. Yep. If it's the order you target them on the subsystem scanner of the station, it'll be 2. But it's not. Nope, that's the library computer access. Watch it be the last one. Okay, so I have clear sailing to this one. Environmental system. That's not what I'm looking for. No, indeed it's not. We only got like 2 left. Maybe this is the very last one. It's weird how the jump gate model has lights flashing out in the middle of nowhere. There's no actual structure to support lights. Oh crap, they're coming right at me. I'm faster than they are. Nope, not what I'm looking for. So it is literally the last one. I wonder if this is randomized or if I just got or I just got super unlucky. Alright, if I just angle the outside. Communication System Hub, here we go. Command, I've located the correct access point. Acknowledge Alpha 1, now access the system. See ya, security bots. I'm now in the Comm System Hub, more access points around me. Hello. Look out for their log archive database. Understood. So this is my way out. I'm going to add that to my escort list. There's 2 groups of security bots here, and they're both behind me. Well, I'm safe to just go for this one. Comm log archive database. Here we go. Comm log archive database accessing system. Well, that was easy. First one I went to. I've entered the communication hub log archive. I can see a lot of files. It's going to take a while. Final development file 64. Yes, it most certainly could take a while, that is. Nope, not what I'm looking for. Nope. Oh shit, there they are. Label per Cirque Alpha found in metadata starting download. It looks promising. Critical communication log metadata contains low per Cirque Alpha download, so I shall continue my search. Negative Alpha 1, that file should be sufficient for the moment. The longer you stay, the higher the risk of detection in your connection and exit the VR mode. How do I do that? Understood. Do I press 1 again? Yes. Primary and secondary connection in VR mode is engaged and back into the real world. Well done, Commander. Get to a safe distance and return to base. This is probably a safe distance. Welcome back, Commander. This was probably the most unusual mission in your career, but you did well. Don't expect such a mission all the time, but gathering hidden information is one of our tasks in keeping the Alliance safe. Speaking about the information you collected, Analytics is breaking the encryption as we speak. They're confident to uncover the identity of the Senior Circle members within the next few hours. As soon as we know who they are, we'll plan our next steps against them. Be ready. Dismissed. No recommendations, no shots fired. Therefore nothing destroyed, so our total kills for the second chapter of the campaign stands at 101 with 13 assists. So this was System Intrusion, the 29th mission of the New Path campaign for Freespace 2 here on Paladin Gaming. This is Paladin Gaming signing off.